You're watching Dog Ear Musings, and I'm Monika. Today we're going to be doing a book review of the book A Passage North, written by the author Anuk Arudpragasam. Arudpragasam is a Sri Lankan Tamil novelist as well as a translator, and he actually wrote this novel, which is his second book, while getting a PhD in philosophy, which makes a lot of sense given the contemplative tone of this novel. Alright, so what's the story about? Well, like I said before, this is a contemplative novel that discusses politics of caste, philosophy, Sanskrit poetry, Tamil language, and war. Specifically the war that occurred in Sri Lanka. This novel is insanely relevant now, given the current political unrest and protests occurring there now. And we'll link some articles about the current situation, just so that you can learn a little bit more if you're unfamiliar with the situation. This novel focuses on the main character, Krishan, once he learns about the death of his grandmother's caretaker. Now, this death is super unexpected, and it really rocks his family. And Krishan is tasked with making the train journey north, hence the title, A Passage North. So he's traveling along this train ride, and as he is going to this funeral, he is contemplating his current identity, a love that he lost, as well as grappling with his own political identity and his country's past. So this book covers grief, identity, love, and time. Now, what are some dislikes about this book? After reading Goodreads, what I found a lot of people didn't like about this book was just how there was no plot. This book occurs in 3 different sort of major scenes and places. A majority of the book happens in Krishan's head, with his own inner dialogue, which a lot of readers found frustrating and kind of alienating. For myself, though, as someone who really loves a character study, I found really getting to delve into Krishan's head and thinking about the process of interconnecting thoughts, personal opinions on love and grief, intersecting with societal ideas about philosophy and war and academic texts. I found that really exciting, and while it can be alienating for some readers, you also could be a person who loves this kind of deep analysis of a character, which I think also segues into what I really liked about the book. So I really loved this really in-depth character study. I thought that this text was especially relevant and poignant to today's current political happenings. So I thought it was really interesting to get to read a contemporary idea and thought on a current situation. Also, I just loved Arudpragasam's use of language. If you're somebody who likes to read a book where every other sentence you want to highlight because it sounds so beautiful, this is the book for you. I was really glad that I bought a copy of this book, even though I'm kind of cheap when it comes to buying books, because I underlined almost every other line from this text. I'm really excited to get to keep this book and to get to reread it. For any read-alikes, if you are someone who really loved Ocean Vuong and any of his poetry or his book On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous, this was a book that really kind of rang similar, just in terms of poetic language use, as well as a lot of deep analytical references. So that was my pretty short review on A Passage North. I found this book really enjoyable, and if you are on Bookstagram, you might have seen this cover in a really aesthetically pleasing picture of an undrunk cup of coffee, or in some fancy bookstore, or in some bougie boho bedroom. The hype is worth it, in my opinion, especially if you really are wanting to read something where every sentence makes your mind go a little fuzzy on how crazy beautiful language can be, and also how intense the brain can be in interlocking thoughts on language and philosophy and literally everything. But that was my thoughts on A Passage North. My name is Monica. You've been watching Doctor Musings. Happy readings, and please feel free to like and subscribe.